Let's start looking at some real examples. So I've got screenshots here that we'll go through just to demonstrate how this can work in the real world, but please do have a play alongside as well, if you're able. So on on Bloom's, if we're talking about maybe remembering or understanding, we can ask it to quiz us. So this was one I made earlier. So, can you quiz me on the following topics? Like my software background, I've asked it, declaring variables, creating functions, all in Java, and I want one question at a time. And then it's given me a question and multiple choice. And then I've responded with the correct answer, because I know it is, and it said correct. And then it gives an explanation as well. And it'll then give you another question, and you can keep going. So it can quiz you. Again, be wary of if something seems a bit off with the correct answer, don't presume it is accurate. I think what's come back to me, I was going to mention earlier, to understand how a large language model works. Well, I'm not going to explain. I don't understand all the ins and outs anyway, so probably couldn't explain it in detail, even if I tried. But essentially, you have to think of an LLM as being like an incredibly advanced autocomplete. So, if you've got autocomplete when you're, sending a WhatsApp message or a text message, or even an email these days, it'll like suggest the next words you could use. That is what LLMs do. They're essentially predicting the potential next words that are most likely, and they're joining those words together and creating usually sensible sort of sounding paragraphs of text. It is not intelligent. It does not understand. That's the problem. We're calling all of this stuff artificial intelligence, but it does not have human intelligence. It does not have understanding. And you can quickly prove that by asking it certain questions, despite the training that it's had from human intervention. Another one, give me a concise list of 10 topics as bullet points that I could use as a starting point for exploring how AI relates to the topic of privacy and safeguarding within the context of nursing students going into placements on a hospital ward. Okay. Now, this gives me a load of stuff. Some of this, I think for all of us, we might not be in this context, but we would probably all find something of unique interest to us. So wearable health devices might be something I hadn't considered before. It's like, oh, okay, so we can go and dig a bit deeper into that. We could ask ChatGPT to expand on that. We could then take to Google Scholar or other tools to go and research, what wearable tech is being used in the NHS, for example. What's the legislation and the rules around that? So we can use it as a point of discovery. Yeah, and I said, tell me more about point 3, please. So this reminds us, when you are having a chat in ChatGPT or any LLM, the chat history is maintained. So you can ask it contextually about something that it said earlier, and it should understand what you're referring to. So tell me more about point 3, please. If I was starting a new chat with that sentence, obviously it wouldn't understand what I'm on about. But since there is a historical conversation going on here, we can use this kind of shorthand to converse with the chatbot.